We are good. Welcome, K4CO. Breaking in, we had some ghosts in the machine there. We had to shoo out of here, so sorry about the little the rough start. We are joined, very special guests, Denver band Break Signals. We have Brian, Adan, and Jay here. Welcome, fellas. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, Break Signals. Where'd the name come from, first of all?
I don't know. You know, it's always hard coming up with band names. I've been in so many bands in my life, and maybe I've liked one or two of the band names.
Yeah. So no,
I don't know.
Behind
the idea, I've always thought, it's cliche, right? But like, the whole Beatles and the pun on the word beat and everything, and kind of a pun on the word break, and just the idea of like break beats, and we're all kind of older gentlemen, break signals in cars, and
use your turn signal.
Yeah.
How long has the band been together?
In one form or another, I'd say about 3 years. But the current lineup has really only been about a year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We did some kind of stripped down stuff for a little while. Don joined on drums, and then Dan Niemczyk joined on bass about a year ago.
Yeah, it was silly. Yeah, first practice was about March.
So we've had a good year.
Pretty efficient.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask y'all a little individually, just because I love talking to musicians about this. When did you start playing music? What did you start playing?
Let's see.
Your guitar. I mentioned that first.
Yeah, I play guitar.
Lead
singer. I started out taking sax lessons in like third grade or something for a few years. And then at some point, I don't know, in middle school, didn't want to do it, and started taking piano lessons for 5 years. And then, in high school, I think my freshman year of high school, like Nevermind, Blood Sugar Sex Magic, the Black Album, the Soundgarden's like record, all that came out in like 3 months. And I was like, I'm going to learn how to play guitar.
Yeah. Those albums really didn't change a lot.
Yeah.
1990.
It was all like within 4 months. And so I started playing guitar, I guess I was 13 or something like that. Yeah.
And singing? Were you always a singer?
I sang a little bit, as a kid, in bands and stuff. And then I lived in New York City for about 16 years and was playing music for a while in New York, and would always do like a tune or two, but was, and would sing backups and stuff, and occasionally would front like a smaller kind of project. But I'd never actually, put as much energy into fronting a band until Break Signals. I don't know why. I don't know. I was always blessed to be, play with amazing musicians, amazing singers, and was always, happy to help write and like, fill up the space, and sing some pretty sick backgrounds, I thought. But I'm happy these days to be able to say, hey, I can sing some leads.
Sit, play guitar, sing a song.
Yeah.
New York's got to be 16 years, you said? That's got to be a rough scene, playing in rock bands.
You're in all kinds of bands. I was playing in Afrobeat bands and soul bands, funk bands, rock bands, it was amazing, right? You get to just meet so many people and so many opportunities to improve, and it's, there's a lot of competition, but it's very open, and I think people are generally looking out for each other. A lot of opportunities to sub and for things.
A lot of diversity out there.
Yeah, a lot of influences, and a lot of. This is a great place to be. Anybody, whatever you want to do in life.
Tough place to make it too. Don, how about you? Have you always been playing drums? Did you start out on drums?
Yeah, I did. I started probably like in school band, playing percussion. So I was raised with a classical background, but pretty early, maybe like 2 or 3 years in, my best buddy picked up a guitar and was like, "Hey man, let's start a band." So he was really into Jimi Hendrix and Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Yeah.
So we did a lot of that stuff. And being from South Texas, there was a lot of like country and blues, did a lot of that kind of thing. And then I moved up to Dallas area, and I played, I actually have a degree in music, so I studied at University of North Texas. So that was cool, doing orchestra stuff, marching band. I mean, you name it. Hand drums, percussion.
So you didn't just start banging on pots and pans. You went straight for the education.
I think it did start that way.
Of course.
When I was really young. But,
right.
Coming out of that degree, I just spent a lot of time as a freelance drummer in the Dallas area.
A lot of bands.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. maybe like 4 or 5 at a time, just whoever would pay me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Goes a long way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jay, how about you? When did you start playing guitar? Was that your first instrument?
It was, yeah. I remember getting inspired when I was really little, just jumping off my couch playing air guitar, watching Eddie Van Halen and everything on MTV. Just found it massively inspiring, and always struggled with, do I want to be a professional athlete or a professional guitar player? Which, obviously.
Yeah. Your career
Tough.
lasts
So,
a little longer.
Yeah. Went for both. And like Brian, about the same age, asked for guitar for Christmas one year, started playing, and then still struggled with that balance. A lot of sports, a lot of music. Played a few bands throughout college and kind of casually played with some friends, here and there throughout the years. And when Brian and I met, that certainly helped kick things into high gear too. So It's always been a part of my life.
And for any of you, did you grow up in a creative environment, or did you just kind of inspire yourself by listening to music in the room? Did you any other musicians in the family?
I think I had, not necessarily. My parents enjoyed, music. They had a pretty decent vinyl collection. And there would be some distant relatives, who would play, but I sort of found it myself. I don't know. It was, as a kid, especially I sometimes I feel bad for kids these days who have are never bored because there's always a device in their hands, but it was such a blessing, I think, as a kid to kind of explore just the limitless of all these different types of music and really just sink into a record and learn it and learn how to improve. And, it was more, I don't know, it was something that for me, not necessarily something that was around me so much. I don't know. It's weird.
How about you?
My dad's a guitarist, and his brother, my uncle, is a bass player. So I remember going to rehearsals. They always had bands, and they played out. That's kind of how I first got turned on to, hey, this is kind of cool. Like during the breaks one time, the drummer let me kind of beat on his cymbals.
Yeah.
I did a little cymbal roll, and I thought that was magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of hooked on cymbals. I still am. I'm a little bit of a cymbal-holic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, the most expensive part of the kit.
Oh, yeah.
Don had a cooler childhood.
How about you, Jay?
I had, my parents played a lot of music growing up, and my mom played harmonica, piano, so there was always a piano in the house. Never got motivated to play that, but she would, when I started playing guitar, she would ask me to come to her, company talent show, so I could accompany her and she could play harmonica, little things like that. And she actually still plays out up in Fort Collins these days. So
All right.
when they retired up there. It was always in my life. And then I think my uncle had just this crazy collection of amazing instruments. He's a really strange hermit dude. But if you go through his house, you'll find you fill in the blank instrument is in his house. And I always loved going there and just messing around with whatever he had.
Yeah. All right. Album release party coming up. What's the name of the album?
Steady Frequency.
Steady Frequency. And coming up this Saturday, April 6th at Herman's Hideaway, 1578 South Broadway, as they welcome Break Signals and with their album release party. Also with Johnny and the Mongrels and Ignatius Riley. Looking forward to that. We're going to be there. We're going to talk about the album here in a bit. First of all, I want to play a song from it, and then we'll be back. Tell us about Spark. Anything you want to tell us, or do you kind of throw your songs out there for us to interpret on our own?
Well, I've been doing this thing on our social media channels every week, for the last 10 weeks, kind of giving a little bit of a clue into where the songs came from. Spark, let's see. I've had a number of friends, I think, who've struggled with, substance abuse over their life. And
Sure.
It's kind of just about the idea of, what's going on when they're, the party's kind of starting to die down, but they want to keep going. It's one of those weird kind of things. I've read a lot of songs, I think, that sort of like The Police, where they have this really fun rockin' vibe, but occasionally they have this dark kind of undercurrent. Mm-hmm. It's kind of just about, somebody who's trying to keep things moving, even though maybe they shouldn't. I don't know.
Okay, well, let's have a listen. From Break Signals, this is Spark on K4CO. We'll be right back.
started getting like a weird digit thing.
I said.
This we've never done until
Oh yeah. Well, it's on the demo.
Oh, it is?
And I never. It's hard to play this guitar line and sing it. But that was one of those things where it's like, oh, yeah, I gotta add that. And what Alyssa did at practice was
Denver's
dope.
own Break Signals. That was Spark. That's a great song. A great ending to that too. It's just a great build. K4CO Radio is a proud partner of Herman's Hideaway. Join Herman's Hideaway this Saturday, April 6th at 1578 South Broadway as they welcome Break Signals. They're having their album release party. We're going to talk about the album here in a second. They're also featuring Johnny and the Mongrels and Ignatius Riley. So head out to Herman's Hideaway this Saturday. Tickets can be found at hermanshideaway.com. Again, we are joined with Brian, Jay, and Adan from Break Signals. Getting to know you guys a little bit. Tell us a little bit about the new record. Anyone? Jump in.
It's slamming. Play it.
How
Done.
When did it come out?
January 26th, I believe.
Okay, so it's had a few weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, we recorded over at the Keep, and that was a good experience.
Let's see. We had about, I don't know, 12 songs, 12 originals. And I think we picked, no, we had more than that. We had like 14, 15 songs. And then we kind of thought, these are the ones that I think were the most ready to record. And we spent, a couple months kind of making sure that things were super tight. We wanted to get in there and be efficient and get as much done in as short amount of time as possible. Right. And it worked with an amazing engineer, Nick Sullivan at the Keep. It's, really great studio. He's a super talented guy. Kept us moving as well. And most of the tunes, I think we pretty much nailed in 3 or 4 takes. And most of the time, I think we ended up using the second or third take. I think an array of music, but generally, we wanted kind of an all killer, no filler record where things just keep moving. Yeah. And I'm pretty proud of what we did. I think it came out really, really great.
Yeah, I do too. Tell us about how you approach your songwriting. Does someone come in? Do you collaborate, or is it just kind of different for each song?
I write the most of the songs for the most part, and usually what I'll do. I don't know, man. You know where the muse comes from. Somebody says something stupid. We're hanging out and kind of say, "Oh, that's a cool idea for a tune." And sometimes they'll come out super quick, like in an hour or two. Sometimes I will an idea into existence over a couple of weeks or something, and then I'll usually cut like a demo and show it to the guys, and then we'll get together and it becomes something else as everyone else adds their little flourishes and ideas and contributions and. But, I think lyrically I've gotten, better at being more discerning of what I think is good and being okay throwing away songs that aren't as good as the more interesting concepts, interesting ideas. Yeah.
Did you have a lot of extra songs that didn't make the album?
We have some stuff. We have a lot of material that we love that, we're already thinking about making another one, in a year or two, whatever. Or maybe like a smaller EP sooner than that. But there's stuff that like I've written that I've like maybe showed to like some of the guys, but like I'm not feeling it. Like, so it kind of gets put aside for a little while, but then, a year later, new perspective. Actually, that song's pretty good. There's one we were just jamming on the other night. It's like, and we played it like the first time we just ran it. We're like, holy, wow, that came out really, really good. Yeah.
Yeah, Brian has a bunch of songs in his back pocket. He'll record a quick and dirty demo and share it with us. That's usually how we kind of get the juices flowing.
Yeah, it just gets the ball rolling.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the whole, like he said, the whole idea or just like a story or something happened, a conversation. You went on this tear for a minute there where we could just be hanging out. We're like, if it was on my back patio laughing about a person, a friend, we were at a concert, like something happened. Sparks an idea. I find a picture. I'm like, hey man, look at this. He comes back. We're texting about the wood cellar, and then he's like, next day, look what I got.
Yeah, I think good songwriting begets good songwriting. And the more you get, in the habit of doing it, you get in a rhythm, and everything just sounds like an idea.
Yeah. And that was close to my next question. Anything unusual, out of the ordinary, that inspires you guys to write? Or is it just like you said, somebody said, you hear
I think
something
the universe,
funny?
the universe presents it in front of you. I know I've had just moments where I'll come to him and been like, hey man, I'm telling a story in Eric's basement. That guy is like, just crazy how that came together. And we could relate it to so many other stories that I think that's what also makes a good song, is it relatable. And we all had something, the three of us are hanging out, throwing down lines and stories, and it just morphed together. And
for me, I find the best stories, or rather the best songs, come from the idea of you're not just talking about an idea. I mean, certainly that happens, and there are songwriters who I admire and adore who have that gift. But for me, if I can latch on to the idea of like of telling, the story or telling the song about something that has an arc to it, or from the perspective of whoever the character in the song is.
So like a communicative.
Yeah, it just kind of and then it gives me, I don't know, something to hold on to and keep tying back to keep like the story of the song going. Yeah.
Interesting. I want to play another song. The song's called Better, and you have a guest on this one, Alyssa Medina. Am I saying that right?
Alyssa Medina.
Alyssa Medina. Tell us a little bit about her since she's not with us today.
Yeah, so I'm trying to figure out some femme vocals for that song. We had a couple ideas. She does. And the first one we tried, we liked, but we thought we were looking for a different angle. And I had seen her play with a Tedeschi Trucks cover band she has called Revelator. And, I mean, she knocks Susan Tedeschi out of the park, which is no small feat.
No, that's not easy to do.
And so figured out some friends of the friends knew her. Small world. We're both from the same hometown, Richmond, Virginia. We're age difference, but then, of course, knew some of the same people and one of those things. And reached out. She said, yeah, sounds good. I'll do it.
Yeah, perfect. I think I cut like a demo of what the harmony would be, and she just came in to the studio, nailed it in like an hour or something.
This was totally not the plan. We went in the studio on Friday, not planning on having backup vocals for this tune. It's probably my favorite song on the album, and I think her vocals definitely elevate it. It just made it does
bring something to it.
I took a lot of heat at first, and to be like, just come on, come on. And then Brian was bought in, and we're like, come on, we got it. And then all of a sudden, and then when I knew it was his favorite, I was like, yes.
It just felt risky, not
yeah. Well, it definitely wasn't part of the plan, but that's also
it totally worked out.
I think that's where the magic happens. We had a rehearsal the other night, and we were talking about this, about how it's when you're just slightly less than fully prepared, where great things happen. And certainly it happened on this track.
It just came together very well. All right, we're going to play Better from Denver's own Break Signals on K4CO.
Time is never slow. An easy disposition. It's cold, but I won't freeze. Ain't got no mission for an exhibition. Got my mind at ease. You know it's better, getting better every day. Hey. I'll write you a letter and try to act better once I figure out what it should say. I hear a blast ring out, got you shaking in your knees. When we were young and we burned it down with nowhere else to be. An easy operation. Oh, a simple currency. But we can't make a living when we're forced to give it all away for free. You Once I figure out what it should say. 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 Once I figure out what it should say.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Better from Break Signals. And we are joined in studio today with Break Signals. Well, part of them anyway. We have Brian, Adan, and Jay. On that song, you had some help from Alyssa Medina. That name just sounds famous, but she'll be joining you this Saturday for the whole show.
Yeah, we're gonna have her sit in for the whole set. She's got just such an incredible voice, and there's, I think, some pretty cool harmonies on the record. So she's gonna pick those all up, and we're gonna play some other songs and let her sing lead on some of those because it's fun for us. She's so amazing to watch sing. So yeah, it's gonna be a great show.
Yeah, again, that's this Saturday, April 6th. Break Signals release album release party show featuring Johnny and the Mongrels and Ignatius Riley, and again Alyssa Medina sitting in with Break Signals. You can find tickets at hermanshideaway.com. That's this Saturday, April 6th. What are you playing a lot of shows now with the new record? You getting into the
I mean, I think we're at the point where we are trying to play venues we enjoy playing more so than number of venues. I think last several gigs have just been really fun for us as far as for the audience, and people that will get what we're doing is more pleasurable than just playing a gig for sake of playing
Just
a gig.
random.
I think for us, yeah.
What are some of your favorite places to play in Denver?
The Wood Cellar.
Well, yeah. If you take, and we have a song about the Wood Cellar because, Rodney and the team up there, they bring through amazing music. And if you haven't taken a little trip to go to Evergreen to catch a band there, it's just a real intimate experience, and the crowd just gets it. And but then, I really enjoyed the last two gigs outside of town. We played Knotted Root Brewing up in Netherland, and just everyone there just gets what we're trying to do in the Armadillo Ranch down in Manitou Springs. So, hey, are there bigger stages and there are other places? Sure, but it's really fun for us to play a venue where the fans really
find those little
engage
pockets
with us. Yeah.
Plus, we like playing places where we can stretch out and play for 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
And we're still relatively new, so
Yeah.
more venues on the horizon.
And being musicians, you're also fans as well, I take it. What are some of your favorite places to see a show?
Well, we live
Any show stand out for you that inspired you to?
I mean, we live in Colorado, so Red Rocks, obviously, for sure.
I lived in Fort Collins for years and had the Mish,
Yeah.
and I would love for us to play up there one of these days. That's just such a uniquely cool place. I've been to the Gorge, and I'm 45, so I hit all those late 90s Fish shows and traveled all over the country. I've been to all the major sheds and venues like that, but I kind of like the mid-size better. Like the Mission Ballroom is just one of here in town. I mean, Denver's tough to beat. We have some amazing places to see music.
It really is.
I go other places around the country, it's just not as great always.
I mean, we're pretty excited for Herman's just because they've done such a good job of upgrading, all their sound and light and everything.
Yeah.
So it should be sometimes you play shows and, it sounds probably good to everybody out there, but it's, you're struggling with like stage sound and everything. But when we can hear ourselves at a amazing venue like Herman's, we know it's going to sound great.
It makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there's plenty of room
Comfort
on
level.
stage too. It's not some postage stamp stage in the corner.
No, we've been cramped, and particularly with the percussion back there, we've had Eric and Adan. I think we've had Eric trapped in, had to literally remove his drums to get him in and out.
Paying your dues. That's what that's called, right?
Yeah.
What else? Again, this Saturday, April 6th, Break Signals album release party. What are some of your favorite bands? Is there one that stands out that made you want to be a musician?
I mean,
Or
I
is it just
think
a collective.
we're obviously a band that likes to stretch out. So, we're very much influenced by that, genre going all the way back to the Dead and, bands that have evolved from that. So, Widespread and Fish and, but also, I don't think we try and stretch out musically beyond that also. So My Morning Jacket, super big influence. And then, just even outside of that, like, especially from my kind of background and being in New York, we'll write songs and pull in like, Afrobeat kind of ideas from like Fela or some reggaeton stuff. So there's a lot of different influences that we try to kind of coalesce into something that sounds very us. I've been to a lot of shows where, you like 80% of what the band's playing. And I think what we've really try to do a good job of is like, if the song's not hitting, we're going to figure out why and make it hit. So we really try and make sure that like our shows are entertaining from start to finish.
Yeah. I think for me, I have a diverse background doing, all kinds of different styles, but 90s rock has always been my thing. And I've always considered myself a rock drummer. And this band was advertised as a jam band. And I remember Jay telling me like, you're not like regular jam band drummers, man.
Well, that's the fun thing too. So we do a lot of, when we do covers, we're not covering jam bands because that's not really fun for us. So like we'll do like Jane's Addiction covers or Blind Melon or, Chili Peppers or Zepp.
We'll do it our own way.
Yeah, we try to mix it up and make it sound
Ray
like
Charles
it's us.
hiding out in the catalog somewhere. I mean, we got some. We want to pull out some different stuff and not cover what everybody else is covering.
Right. Yeah, that's what I appreciate.
But I think
as well.
Adan just hit on something too that I think is big. I mean, Brian and I had played with some other people that were more kind of cut from the same cloth we were, and Adan kind of fell into our lives, and it was like, wow, we sound way different and way cooler with this Texas rock drummer just dropped in here.
Because he plays heavier,
we're just
louder, or what
it's
is
just, I don't know, it just felt like all of a sudden we were punchy in the face and you wanted more.
Definitely had that experience before where
brought that dynamic.
Bring people from different backgrounds and the band's going to sound different, right? Based on what the ingredients are. And I think this one just works.
We used to always talk about bringing it when we just talk, hey, we got to bring it. And then he would bring it, so it was good.
You can definitely hear the jam band influence in the band, but there's an edge to it. So that's what I like about it. A little like, you don't sound like Widespread Panic, but you know how Widespread has that. They'll play some heavy guitars here and there, and there's just kind of a bite, an edge to it. I think you guys have that, and which brings us to our next song. When you can definitely hear the jam band influence is. The Brewer and the Barn Burner. Brewer at the Barn Burner. Tell us about this one.
This is Jay mentioned
picture song.
Yeah, he came across some picture of like early Denverites hanging around a table drinking beer, basically. And I just thought, well, how did that happen? Like, what was that like? Yeah. And I came up with this idea of like some guy who fell on hard times, back east, and looking for a different life out here, and just kept making the same mistakes.
and we're all from somewhere else too, and so
just kind of a fictional.
It was like us, but 100 years ago, and it was you could look at their eyes and you could tell we have a lot in common, but we don't.
It's like a time travel movie. Yeah. All right, well, let's listen to The Brewer at the Barn Burner. That's a mouthful.
It's a mouthful, yeah.
The Brewer.
We call it The Brewer.
I'm in radio. The Brewer at the Barn Burner from Denver's own Break Signals.
Cool.
Been 3 long years since I can relax. Lost some friends in the war and the rest by the tax. Trying to settle down to work this land. It ain't easy with only 2 hands. So when I heard Sunday there be a gathering with a brewer from Duluth. You don't have to bring a thing, like the engine I seen just the other day. The world keeps on changing, and I keep making mistakes. Well, I gave up all I knew when I got on that wagon, headed out west, away from the streets of Manhattan, looking for a life in the great expanse.
trying to lead into that.
The brewer at the barn burner from Denver's own Break Signals. You mentioned Richmond, Virginia a little bit earlier. Are there any Colorado natives in the band?
Just my wife, and she's not.
And she's not in the band.
One of my kids was born here.
Yeah, my children, all three, were born here.
Okay. Your album cover, and I want to ask, is that an actual photo? Was this an artist? It's a pretty spooky and cool looking album cover.
I have a friend, who's a really talented illustrator, who I knew back in New York, and wrote him and just said, hey, we've worked together on some things I've needed some cool art for in the past, and he's really into digital, and we just riffed around some ideas, and he put something together, and then we would kind of respond to it and say, oh, well, maybe it should have more glow, and maybe it should do this.
Maybe we should have mountains in there.
We should have mountains in it. 'Cause
It's a lot of back and
we should
forth.
have some shooting lines of energy and stuff, and he used whatever kind of tool sets were at his disposal to help accomplish that.
It's from a lyric, right? There's a tower in the backyard.
Yeah,
sending
that's true,
systems
yeah.
out in space.
Yeah, there's a whole,
Okay.
the whole idea of steady frequency as a song lyric, and then the tower in the backyard, and the idea of signals, break signals. It just kind of felt really appropriate.
Yeah, it looks good. I like it. Very professional looking. And again, the new album is called A Steady Frequency from Break Signals. And this Saturday, April 6th, at Herman's Hideaway, they're having their album release show featuring Johnny and the Mongrels and Ignatius Riley. Where can we find you? Pretty much all streaming platforms, I take it?
All streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Music.
Is there a YouTube channel? Do you guys have videos or anything?
We do, yes.
We have some videos up. If you want to buy the record, you can buy it on Bandcamp, and the funds will go directly to us if you want to support, music in that sense. But yeah, we're on Instagram, Facebook. We would love more, people to follow us there. We're trying to, keep things fun and interesting. So
Yeah, also we have a website, breaksignals.com.
Yeah.
Pretty easy to remember.
Yep, I'm on there right now. Yeah. And there's a lot of
BREAK.
And I should mention the individual who did the album art. His name is Mike Marsicano. So
okay. Yeah, the production is really great. It's a really clean sounding album. Did a great job. What do you got going after Herman's Hideaway? You got the whole summer booked?
Yeah, fairly much. Our next gig, we haven't technically announced it, but I think we're close enough. We're okay. We're going to play So Many Roads.
well, we got the Wood Cellar on 420.
Geez. Yeah.
So are you guys just regulars?
See,
up
I'm
there?
having.
Yeah, well, a couple times a year.
Yeah.
And 420 should be a good one up there.
Yeah. How did I forget that one? But
Coming
yeah,
up on 420.
that'll be a big one. They throw a huge party that whole weekend, and all three bands. In fact, Ignatius Riley even plays the night before us, and I think they have like Eric Martinez the next day. So some family bands in our.
But yeah,
in our circle.
so many roads. I think we're going back to Armadillo and Manitou this summer.
Mhm.
We're playing Street Fair up in the Highlands in Tennyson in July.
Tennyson Street Fair,
Yeah.
yeah. Mhm. And then there's some other things in the works that we can't get to yet, but they're in the works.
Gotcha. Anything outside of Colorado?
Nothing,
yet.
nothing planned, but I don't see, we're all from other places, and all my friends and back home in New York are like, man, you guys should come out here. So I would love to figure out a way to do like little mini kind of runs, do like a Boston, New York, Philly run, and come home, and do like a SF LA run, come home, something like that.
Yeah. Definitely. How do you get away from it when you're not writing and playing music? What are some of your other passions in life?
Well, we all have families.
How do you
we
get
all
away
have
from
kids.
Family.
You're all family men?
Yeah, we all have families. We all have kids.
Not Dan. Not Dan.
No, that's true.
Sure.
Not Dan. Dan, if you're listening out there, but I've found a great outlet in coaching. Like I don't know what it is. I've had a blast coaching basketball every year, and a little bit of softball too, but mainly basketball. Some daughters. But that does it for me. And then I think we all enjoy time in the mountains, skiing, snowboarding. All that scratches the bucket for everybody. I'll do fly fish, mountain bike, but kids, jobs, bands. Yeah, it's a juggling act.
Yeah.
That's plenty.
And you guys do this for a living? Or is Break Signals
No, I think all of us are doing something else right
still
now
working? Yeah.
for the most part.
Yeah. Enterprise software sales over here.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I've been in software engineering for decades. I think as long as I've probably played music longer, but it's always helped. One thing funds the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and Dan we both work at the same company. We're both aerospace engineers.
Okay, so you got that to fall back on.
Yeah, just in case music thing doesn't work out.
Eric is
Good luck with that.
Eric's an acclaimed swim coach. He coached Missy Franklin.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of the great swimmers were coached by Eric. Came through Colorado.
Interesting.
Yeah, he was a D1 swimmer back in the day.
Does he still coach? Is he
He
still
does.
involved at
Yeah,
all?
he's still out and about. Yeah.
That's pretty impressive. Well, it makes sense. I mean, you guys made an incredible record. I mean, there's nothing amateur or silly about it. That's very professional. Very well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
I appreciate you guys being here.
Hey, we wanted to thank you. What
Yeah,
you
thanks
guys
for
are
having
doing for local bands here in Colorado, nobody else is doing this. It's way cool. And just
Appreciate
streaming your stuff in the background, hearing new music. I love it.
Appreciate it. Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
That's kind of the idea behind it. Just, playing a wide range. And, I years ago played in and out of bands, and it was impossible to get on the radio. I mean, it was just impossible. Doors slammed in your face. I mean, giving away tapes that nobody even bothered to listen to. It just goes straight into the trash can. So we love it, and we love having you guys, and we're looking forward to Saturday night. Again, Break Signal's album release show this Saturday, April 6th at Herman's Hideaway, 1578 South Broadway. Doors at 7, music at 8. You can find tickets at hermanshideaway.com. And speaking of the Wood Cellar, I'm going to play that one right now. This is the Wood Cellar from Denver's own Break Signals on K4CO.
There's a place I know at the top of the hill where people come from miles around. The drinks are strong and the clientele is heady, and everybody's up for getting down. When the bands get loose and the floor is cracking, got a few things I need to tell her. You gotta keep a handle on it, girl. You don't gotta flaunt it when you bring it down to the wood cellar. 'Cause you can't stop thumping, everyone is jumping, spinning like an aeroplane propeller. Yeah, we slay the refrain when we're rolling on the night train down out of your cellar. We're shoulder to shoulder and the lights are hot, but nobody seems to mind. It's kinda hypnotic and my tab is getting higher. I ain't trying to keep track of the time. Well, the jams are a-kicking, everybody's shaking. Up front we're hearing all the yellows. It's a fine situation when we're all a-gyrating down at the old cellar. 'Cause we can't stop thumping, everyone is jumping, spinning like an aeroplane propeller. Yeah, we slay the refrain when we're rolling on the night train down at the old cellar. Come on. and the room is spinning. Can't tell if she's after all my money. Well, I'm trying not to worry, cause I ain't in a hurry. When a kiss is like a spoonful of honey. She whispers in my ear, and I gotta reply, cause I've got a few things I need to tell her. She gotta keep her handle on it, girl, you don't gotta flow it when you bring it down to the wood cellar. Yeah, we can't stop bumping, everyone is jumping, spinning like an aeroplane propeller. Yeah, my heart is a beating, we're turning up the heat and it's pouring, but I don't need no umbrella. Yeah, we slay the refrain, we're rolling on the night train down at the old wood cellar. Yeah, we slay the refrain, we're rolling on the night train down at the old wood cellar. Yeah, we slay the refrain, we're rolling on the night train down at the old wood cellar. Yeah, we slay the refrain, we're rolling on the night train down at the old wood cellar. Come on.
I'll probably just use my hard case until I get it fixed. So I don't get more dinged up.
The Wood Cellar from Break Signals. I want to thank you guys again for coming by. Again, this Saturday, which I'm looking forward to, this Saturday, April 6th at Herman's Hideaway, Break Signals album release show featuring Johnny and the Mongrels and Ignatius Riley. You guys excited?
Oh,
Yeah,
hell
yeah, and I definitely want to shout out those two bands. Super pumped to be playing with them. Johnny and the Mongrels, great local band.
I think we just started playing Johnny and the Mongrels
Yeah,
too.
Ignatius Riley too. We've played a show with them before, and you know, it's gonna be just. It's not, you know, it's a full 4 hours of amazing music that night. So
Excellent. We'll be there. Jay, Adan, and Brian, thanks again from Break Signals. We're going to leave you with one more. Tell us about Eloise, or should I just let it fly?
Eloise is you know.
Do we know Eloise? Or is this another?
We know
It's a
Eloise,
combined
but
fictional
story.
character.
but
Yeah.
it's her name is not actually
The
Eloise.
name's been changed to protect
But
it.
Eloise, you know,
protect
rolls
you.
off the tongue a little better. I don't know. It's just about, you know, a time in your life when, you know, you had less stuff to care about, you know. Life's still, you know, awesome, but, you know, it's fun looking back sometimes.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks again, guys. Catch them at Herman's Hideaway this Saturday, April 6th. Doors at 7, music at 8. Here's Eloise from Break Signals. Thanks again, guys. Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, you guys.
Thank you, Cass. It's really great. It's a lot of fun.
I like when it goes